All right, so this is part two. The parts, most of them other than the chuck, have arrived. You can see this chuck was, well, it took a little persuasion to get that off. It's toast, right? One of these is, it got bashed up in there. You can see there's a scuff mark right there. So we're well and truly done with this. Shouldn't be that way, but that's the way it is. So what I did here, as you can see, this is back together and the bearings are apart as they were last time we met. I cleaned out the insides. I polished this guy first. I took all the rough edges and anything that was peened over, and I got that with a rough stone. And then I went up successive grits to about 2,500, just making it a little less rough, right? A little more consistent. We already talked about doing this with a stone, and I did these as well, because this actually has a plastic bushing inside. So when you fit this in, what happens is, I can get it squared up. Ow. So these are in the, let's scoot back a little here. These are in the head part of the column, right? So this basically is taking all of the force that's going this way around and pulling that way from the belt and transferring it into the body of the machine, while this is what is affixed to the pulley, this top piece, right? And the top piece rotates inside these bearings. Sure, now smooth as could be. And it transfers it to this shaft, right? It has this interesting geometry to it. And it is made that way because you can't really make it a square, otherwise it'll be too wobbly in the end. So it has these kind of grooves in it, right? And that makes it easy to slide up and down. That moves the quill up and down with this rack on the pinion, right? So what's important, and I'll have to dress the top of this because it's a little bit mushroomed over. You can see some parts of it are a little, we had to do some whacking with a hammer on that. So there's a burr right there. And you don't want that because, again, the inside part that takes this drive, well, it's not really a shaft, it's like a drive collar, and transmits it is plastic, rubbery. You know, maybe it's got like a durometer of like 50. It's not very tough. It's pretty squishy stuff. Anyway, so the next things in this process are to put the snap ring back on here. But before we do that, we're going to install the snap ring on this. And this is the smallest snap ring, right? That's easy to remember. Sorry about the crickets again. Apparently I don't pay these spiders enough. So the key thing to remember is that this bearing on top is actually recessed below the level of the outside, right? This one is flush, actually a little proud in some spots. I'll take care of that with a punch. And then this one is recessed below, right? But now that that's on there, this is not coming out. It's ready to go and silent. Absolutely silent. No wobble, no play. There's a little bit of play end to end, but that's normal for any bearing. It's maybe a thousandth or two. And so what we'll do next is we'll dress the end of this. We'll get this put into the machine over there. We'll put a light coat of grease. And I think that's pretty much about it. There's another clip that goes here, right? It'll be obvious which one that is. And That's just to prevent... I'm really actually not sure what that's supposed to do. I mean, these aren't going to fly up, but I suppose they're trying to capture it so that any upward force doesn't pop this out of these. But when's the last time... Well, I suppose if the entire... An upward force is just a downward press, right? So if you're pressing down, all that energy is transferring up through here. What they don't want is for this to be turning and to start backing out, which I don't know how it could, considering all of that force would then be transferred sideways through the pinion gear into the housing of the machine. So I think maybe it's just for vibration mitigation. There's a reason. I may not know what it is, but we're going to solve it. So I got 2 clips. I'm not sure which does what, but it's a good guess that if it fits over without being stretched, it's probably too big. But this one looks like it fits just right. Who's this belong to? I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe it's supposed to go down here. I somehow doubt that. Don't remember there being a clip there, but I've been wrong before and I will be again. It does look like that fits. No, it's a little too much. So maybe not. What I do know is that it sure as shit doesn't fit on here. So I like to give my clips a little oil. Just to pretend like that does something for corrosion. And I don't know that this is anything like clocking piston rings. I don't think it would be. But if you really want to play that game, I'm sure there's plenty of people on the internet who will indulge you. Oh, here we go. My dumbass didn't realize it goes right here. Okay, well, the mystery of the clip is solved. They kind of have the way of sorting themselves out, these things. Just gonna do that 180, because why not? Why not? Cool. All right, and there's no play. Good. That's what I want. Okay, I'm gonna hit this with some white lithium grease on this shaft. And I'm going to install this into the head, and I'll be back with you when that's done. You guys have all seen, if not, you should know by now how to install bearings, because if you're following along with me, you got this far. So let's do that. Okay, here's your update. Everything's back installed. The tensioner is in. The way you do that is you hook the leaf spring over the end of this split shaft, and then you twist it a little tighter. Park it on these guys, these lugs. You can see this is there. And then you get the appropriate tension that you want. So this moves up and down like you like. I might do a little more spring tension just to get it back a little more positively, but then you just back this nut into that jam nut and you're done. Don't forget to replace the depth stop nuts. This, of course, goes in at the same time you put that in, and you know, you can position it whichever way you like. I, of course, greased it up on both this end, the actual pinion gear, and on the other bearing surface. The back of this got a little silicone grease on the rack there, and white lithium grease is what I chose for the spinning part, just because, you know, it's just the right thing to do. So now it basically, after I took a safe edge file, let's focus a little. After I took a safe edge file and knocked down the edges of that it's smooth as could be. Without the spring tension on, there's no friction. And then of course what you want to do over here is you tighten down this set screw until you get a good no wobble right out of this column at its furthest extent. And then you check and make sure it rides as smooth as you want. This is a wear item, so you will adjust it throughout the course of owning it and using it. And then you keep your screwdriver in there, come in here with I think it's a 15 mil wrench, tighten it up, and that's just to jam it there, make sure it doesn't back out. You can, of course, adjust it as you like, right? So if you find that this has when you adjust it for enough play so that there's no wiggle, right? You don't want any wiggle in your shaft, in your quill. Once you've adjusted that appropriately, you may find that you need to add more spring tension on the other side, and that's normal. So now what we're going to do is we're going to align this with the set screw on our pulley. And then we are going to get everything so that the belt is level across. And you can do that with a straight edge. I'm choosing to use a level. So what I'll do is I'll just check what the level is normally, right? And if I turn this a little, we'll see if it changes at all, just so we can factor that in. Oh, okay. So, quarter bubble. And what I'll do then is I'll just go across and I'll set it here, right? So it's on the ledge of one of these. It's a little hard because it's an upside down tree. And I'll shoot for a quarter bubble. Now look at that bad boy run. Nothing but a little lump here and there just caused from a motor being ridiculously mounted. Nice and smooth, just the tiniest vibrations in there. Looks like there might be just the tiniest bit of run out. It's so much better than before. One thing we might do is looking for about a 1/2 inch of deflection there. So that's a lot more than a 1/2 inch. So I might just pop a wedge in there and tighten this up a little bit and run it again. All right, so I put 2 wooden wedges back there. Tighten this down. That got the belt tensioned exactly where I wanted it. I let this run with the set screw a little bit loose to see where it ended up. Ended up being a little quieter, a little less thumpy, a little less lumpy, and now some of that vibration's gone. Now, it's not the most accurate thing in the world. And maybe we'll sit here, pull on it a little. Knock some of the edges off. Some 2500 grit, polish it up. This isn't going to take the shape away. But what it will do is it's going to cut concentric. Feel a little trash down there at the tip, don't we all? See, we're starting to bring that polish up a little. I want to get into something just a little more aggressive for that edge. I don't actually remember what grit this is, but I'm going to just take down that rough part. There's a burr on there. Still on the edge. Almost like it mushroomed out a little bit. I've no doubt that was part of what got this thing stuck in the first place. Slightly rough. Smooth it up. Perfect. Now, we're not going to spend a bunch of time on this. What we are going to do is just get it goody done. This isn't something you'd want to do to a nice drill press. You might actually take that to a lathe, but this is what I have, and this is what I'm doing. I can still feel it in there, but that's just what it is, right? That's just the way this piece is. There's a little bit of crud right at the bottom. The rest is smooth. You know, I haven't decided, but maybe tomorrow before I put the chuck on, I'll take that down so it's nice and concentric. Because that's where our runout's coming from. It's not up here. I can feel this is very smooth. You can actually feel runout most of the time. Get your finger down here and it's brrr, right? Smooth, 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 smooth. Brrr. We don't want that. But all in all, bearing job done.